This is Carcon Carne, presented by Alex Ross Art, alexrossart.com. If you've ever picked up a comic book or a graphic novel, you've seen this man's work. He is a true legend. He is one of a kind, and he is one of the all-time greats. And he's local, too, Alex has his own YouTube channel, and he shares stuff from the studio that he's working on. Whatever he's doing, it's cool, and you want to see it. And here's Alex Ross talking about his YouTube channel.
Hi, this is Alex Ross. I appreciate you guys supporting our YouTube, and we create new content every week. I hope you will continue to support us, and please subscribe.
Carcon Carne, also sponsored by Easy Automation, easy-automation.net. Transform your living space with cutting-edge home automation. You can experience seamless control over audio, video, lighting, climate, security, and more. Embrace the future of smart living. Give smart living a nice big hug. Your home, your rules. Call my friends at Easy Automation. And when you call them, they'll pick up. You'll talk to a human being. It's just like the old days. Easy-automation.net or call 630-730-3728. 630-730-3728. That is for Easy Automation. All right, so we're going to start by playing a song because I have permission.
You have my absolute permission to play it. Play the shit out of it.
I love that. Okay, so this is Chair from Sister Soleil
Awesome.
on the podcast.
You think that con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
Sister Soleil, that is the subject. To my right, if you're watching this on video, as Stella sometimes does, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, that is Stella Katsoudas of Sister Soleil. If you're listening, well, it's still Stella Katsoudas of Sister Soleil. The big question here, we have not heard from Sister Soleil in quite some time. Sister Soleil, Chicago-based artist. You've been through some stuff. You've been through the major label Ringer. Sister Soleil is back. Let's start with the present, and we'll kind of work our way backwards.
Okay.
What's going on with Sister Soleil?
There's a lot going on with Sister Soleil.
Which I've been waiting for you to be able to say.
It's crazy. I mean, it started with just an idea. I'm very, very good friends with somebody that's been in the industry, in the radio industry for a very long time, and he's kind of, I'm not going to say his name because I'm not sure he would want me to, but anyway, very good friends with him, and, you know, he was like, when are you going to quit this dog walking thing and get back to your career? And I'm like...
Wait, so you were dog walking instead of making music?
Yeah, well, I never stopped making music. I just stopped caring about doing it as a career.
Which I've learned from talking to people, that's the most liberating feeling in the world.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the change from the music industry, especially if you've ever been a big artist on a very powerful label with very powerful people controlling your every existence. It was liberating, and I just literally came to the point where I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? This is dumb. Like that, I'm not getting anything great out of this. This is just all misery. And what else do I like besides music? Well, I love dogs, so I'm gonna become a dog walker.
Good for you.
Yeah, and I kept making music, but I just put it out to my supporters. I don't even like to call them fans. I think that's such a derogatory word.
I hate that word.
Yeah, it's such a derogatory word because these are not fans. These are supporters. These are people that have been with me since 1997 and have never even flinched. And so I make music. I put it out to them. And
I like the word community. In the world of the internet, you're all connected, and it feels more like a community than the old days of having the barrier between artist and supporter.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a pretty large community and a lot of supporters, and anyway, back to what I was saying. This person in my life that has been in the industry much, much longer than I have been, and was like, Sister Soleil. And I'm like, what about Sister Soleil? He's like, let's put a Sister Soleil record out. And I'm like, I have one better for you. I have an unreleased Sister Soleil record, the very first EP called Drown Me in You.
You mean this?
That is exactly what I'm talking about. Has never been released on a label.
Because this was self-released, and I got to say, you did really well with this.
I sold 14,000 copies. I sold 14,000 copies at shows, and one Sam Goody store in Des Moines, Iowa. And
Goody got it.
I know. And the thing was, the big single off of that EP was called Red, and it just kind of broke the music industry. And I signed with Universal Records. The head of Universal Records came in holding the EP, and his exact words were, I do not understand this at all, and we're not going to do anything with it. I'm just more interested with working with a smart person such as yourself. And he shelved it. And it just...
What's not to understand? This isn't trigonometry. This isn't AP Physics.
That was the chairman of Universal Music Group telling me that he did. I'm like, what's not to get? There's like 3 hit songs on this EP, you know, and but he shelved it, and so then I went through my entire career and have been like just sitting on this EP that, you know, 14,000 people in the Midwest only bought at my shows, and there's other great songs on this EP besides Red that radio never heard. It was never worked to radio.
People who listened to Q101 at like 11 o'clock on Sunday nights back in the day heard it.
Yes. It's so funny that you say that, because I remember coming into Q101 and doing interviews with you, and I'm just listening to your voice, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like right back there.
And you're thinking, this is so depressing. We used to do this in the studio, and now we're doing this in a 10-year-old Mazda on Madison Avenue.
This is so much cooler than a studio, though. I mean, it's just so much cooler, you know? I think it's so much cooler. Well, anyway, so it started out with a kind of a dare with this person who I have a lot of respect for. And, you know, and he said, "You have the rights to it?" I'm like, I've always had the rights to it. And that's how it started. And he said to me, all right, let's test this out. Deliver me 3 stations, 3 radio stations that would play this. And in 48 hours, I delivered 5. And
which is no easy feat. And radio stations, through consolidation and just what we're in right now, that's not easy to break through.
You know, the thing is I kind of have an edge in radio. I don't know why, but they remember me from 26 years ago. And, you know, getting back in contact with, you know, people that were in radio that were radio DJs are now general managers of these radio stations. So I still had these contacts.
Yeah, those poor schmucks.
I know, and you know, these radio stations got really excited about this, and then it really started to, like, all of a sudden, it's starting to get spins and requests, and
the song Chair.
It's the song Chair. So I have been pushing the song Chair because I always thought it was, as a rock song, a much stronger song than the song that got me my record deal, which was Red, off of this. But nobody paid attention and realized that the song Chair was an even stronger song than Red. Red was more of a dance song, and Chair is straight up like a rock song, you know? And I remember I did a show, like a random one-off show in Omaha, and opening for, God, I can't even remember the names of they were 2 DJs and a drummer. Well, anyway, they were huge and a big national act, and I was the opener, and I'm like, I might as well just I'm going to open as Sister Soleil. I mean, I've had so many millions of projects since then, but I'm like, I'm going to do a Sister Soleil show. I haven't done a Sister Soleil show in a long time. So I got in front of these like 600 kids that had never even heard of Sister Soleil at this point. And I played the song Chair, and they went nuts. They went nuts. They were like screaming through the whole song. And I was like, wow, this song still like works, you know. It's still, this song is as strong as it ever was, you know, and I never forgot that. And so when I was kind of making this plan of action with going back to radio with this EP, it had to be Chair, because I think, especially if I'm going to rock radio, it's the only, there's another song on the EP too that would work, but I think this is the strongest rock song on the EP. And it's starting to get requested on these stations, and which is amazing, because I probably have got all but 4 or 5 spins from each of these stations, and then I got an investor. All of a sudden that came up because heard it on one of the stations. Sister Soleil is looking for a place to, I'm looking for a label to put out Draw Me and You, and all of a sudden I've got an investor and we're pressing vinyl, and
Really?
it's going into all the Homer stores in Nebraska, and yeah.
But so there will be a vinyl release of this.
But yes, it's actually, so Jim Marcus, who was one of my original producers, and
This is his artwork, right?
yes, and he did most of my artwork on almost every release I've ever done, and he's just incredibly talented.
One of the smartest men I'll ever meet.
Oh my God, he's so the problem with Jim Marcus is he's too talented. Like, you know, like he's got like the talent of like 10 people, you know, and like, so he can't just do a record. He's got to do a record and a box set and a painting and a, you know, and like
He's wildly creative.
And just epic at everything he does. Well, anyway, he is, I talked to him and I said, this is getting pressed. I have the investor just wired the investor money into my account, and I need you to like recreate this artwork. He says, just send me the EP and I can work right off the EP and create and put the the exact same artwork from the EP from 26 years ago is now going to be the artwork on the vinyl release, and the record is actually red. The vinyl record is red,
absolutely
itself. So, so it's coming out on vinyl, which is, you know, I think one of the reasons why this investor got excited is because I was doing a lot of research in secondary markets, and there's a correlation now between terrestrial radio and retail, specifically vinyl, in these secondary markets. Huge retail, Walmart's, Targets, and Best Buys have now, vinyl has overtaken the CDs. Sure. And again, this EP that I put out on CD and sold at my show has never been released on vinyl.
That exciting. So how? I'm guessing it's probably a small press, like a 500.
Yeah, it's a small press to start at, and it's cool because it's actually going to be distributed in the Homer stores, which is a retail chain in Nebraska, and one of the 89.7 is playing the station. I mean, playing the single chair, and out there, and I think the story is the big story is probably starting in Nebraska, because the combination of retail and terrestrial radio already happening as we speak.
Is it weird for you to go out there and put yourself out there for a song that is as old as it is, and maybe not as representative of who Stella is in 2024?
Well, you know, the thing is it's you know, my partner in Sister Soleil was Howie Benno, and you know, he passed away just a couple of years ago, and you know, 3 weeks before he died, we actually talked about this record and saying that we didn't know it back then when we were writing this in his studio apartment on a broken piano, that this would be the best work what we'd ever done in our entire careers. And he had a long, lucrative career as a producer, writer, and that this EP was literally, we had no idea how great it was when we were doing it, and it's timeless. And I you know, these radio stations that I'm dealing with hold it up to things that are being played now, and it fits. It works, you know, it works. And so it doesn't feel weird for me to play it. It feels like it's finally time. You know, that. It's finally time. The time has finally come to release this, you know.
So with a vinyl release, with radio stations playing this, you kind of have to put a band together and play live, don't you?
Not really. I'm about to start writing the new system. So I'm looking for. There's a few options. There's a few labels I'm looking at to put out Drown Me and You, and the plan is to work Drown Me and You while I'm writing the follow-up to Drown Me and You, which I feel didn't actually ever happen, even though I did do...
Here's what we got.
Yeah, even though I did do Solarium on Universal, it was just not the it just was not the follow-up to Drown Me in You. It was a very confusing time in my life.
Oh my God, your hair hasn't changed.
I mean, like, I know my mom actually saw, I was talking to my mom, I was FaceTiming with her, and she's like, you look exactly the same. So I'm like, I was putting the pigtails in, and I'm like, I feel like I'm doing a Sister Soleil show tonight, But, yeah, so... So, like I said, I'm looking for, there's a few different options to put this out, and while it's being worked and sold, mostly on vinyl, it'll probably come out on iTunes when a label picks it up, and vinyl and iTunes. But like I said, we're starting the pressing right now. I have this investor,
awesome.
and then in the meantime, I have begun talking with my friend Gino Leonardo, who is a exceptional writer and producer. Remember Filter?
Sure.
He was in Filter. He's written. I've worked with him. We did a song for Underworld Awakening, that vampire franchise with Kate Beckinsale. So I'm used to working with him, and we're starting to write for a follow-up to Drown Me in You right now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We held up Solarium. I don't know who this is.
That's Stella Soleil. That was that was tough, man. That was a record that I just had no choice. I had to make. If I did not make that record, I could not get off of Universal. And it was, the head of UMG wanted me to be a pop star, and I did not want to be a pop star. I just wanted to make rock records and have a nice little career, but he wanted me to be huge and pop. And I hated pop, and so this was a really painful process for me. This is why I changed my name to Stella Soleil when I did that pop record, because I wanted to make sure.
I didn't know if that was your choice or if that was a choice that was.
No. I wanted to make sure that the Sister Soleil fans knew that I did not completely abandon Sister Soleil.
That makes sense.
That it's a completely different project, and I wanted to protect the name Sister Soleil, and so I called myself Stella Soleil for the pop record. But I did not make that record by choice, and it was painful, but I did learn a lot from it, and I did work with some really incredible writers, and I did kind of hone in on my writing skills, writing with pop writers. It's, people think that writing pop is easy. It's the hardest thing on the planet. You're literally writing in a box and with all these parameters, and it's very mathematical and formulaic, and really difficult for an artist such as myself, who's always written straight from the heart and written melodies from my head, and to just completely be derailed and have to write in this manner that was so restrictive. It was tough. That was a tough record to make, and and then the cover, the ridiculous cover that I literally did not want to do was called Kiss Kiss, and then it was a massive hit.
The cover. For those who are just listening, they dressed you up like a French maid.
Oh. Okay, there's a whole backstory. That was supposed to be a cartoon. Okay, that was you want to see something really shocking? Pick up the CD and look at the tray card.
Oh shit! I don't even.
That's my crotch.
Yes, it is. Okay,
that was not supposed to happen. That was supposed to be a shot of a top of a thigh-high stocking cropped to just the lace of this. No. They took a picture of my crotch and just used the whole picture as the tray. So 250,000 copies went out into the stores with a full-on crotch shot. yeah.
Record labels are great.
Yeah, aren't they awesome? Yeah.
What I find interesting about you reclaiming Sister Soleil,
yeah.
what you're doing in 2024 isn't that different from the hustle you had to do in the 90s. Like, all that major label experience in the 2000s aside, like, you're kind of back to basics.
Well, that is exactly what I'm doing, because here's the thing. And I have just recently been accused of one of my artist friends of being too business, but I don't consider myself a business person. I consider myself a creative hustler.
Well, I'm glad we've done this interview thing dozens of times, but it's been a while, and I'm glad we were able to do this.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
I am excited to see what happens this year.
Yeah.
All eyes are on you. The song is Chair. It's old, but it's new, and it's awesome. And thank you, Stella.
Thank you.